Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, I mean, just to get that out the way, so yeah, I think we can start now.
Mm.
Simon, you're our guest, so I'll let you go first. So which company is up first for you, Simon?
Yeah, so for this one, Jermaine, as I told you, I think I tweeted it as well. I was staying away from the junior market. I kind of got a hint of what you wanted to talk about, so I didn't want to talk about some of the same things because I see that we were looking at some of the same things.
Yeah.
The main market interested me because I haven't looked at it in depth for a long time. I operate a lot in the junior market. I do my trading or my general investments on the junior market side. I may come over the main market side some at some points from time to time. So the first one I want to look at, and this is one, as I said, just to contextualize what watch means. Watch means I'm looking at this company and I am expecting the management, the executives, the board to use what I'm seeing or the possibilities that may exist to grow the company. And the first one is Wisynco. If anybody has heard me talk, at SOTR live at Palisados, or anywhere, you would have heard me speak, about Wisynco. And to be fair, I'd say Wisynco is an excellent company, Jermaine. If you look at the financials, the income statement, the balance sheet, I believe they have about $9 billion in cash, or cash-like investments, and very little debt relatively. They have they're very large. I believe they have a very good stake in the local distribution space, and clearly they're one of the leaders as it pertains to water, juices, and distribution of various other types of juices and even cold beverages. So that's there. However, I've started to hear, over, it's not really over the past couple months, but probably over the past couple quarters, where the executives of the company have been speaking up more about going into this last phase, this build out and the expectation to double production capacity this year by adding additional lines at the factory. I believe they expanded their factory in Lake I want to say, significantly, over the last few quarters. So as I look at this and I'm looking at that $9 billion in cash, I'm saying, Musinko, you've been talking about mergers and acquisitions, for a while. You've been talking about going into the export market, for a while. To my knowledge, like, the percentage of their sales that goes to exports is single digits. You've been speaking about expanding that and growing that part of the business. My understanding is that as they produce and ramp up production, the local market absorbs it. So it's not necessarily that they don't want to export and build on that, but they they're trying to increase production capacity to a certain level in order to take advantage of that significantly. So I want to see them do more. That's from the company side. Stock is a bit different. So if you look at the Wisynco stock, Germany, if you can put back up the chart, you'd realize that, oh, the price is not there. It's this. Oh, yeah, thanks. So you'd realize that the price, I would say, moves with some level of predictability, right? It goes down to a certain level, it gets support, and it goes back up to a certain level. And it needs resistance, usually at about 21, 22. The peaks have changed over time, usually met resistance around 19, 20. That's move up to 20, 21, 21, 22, in the most two recent peaks. If you look at the volumes as well, and I always encourage people to look at the volumes, you would see the volumes spike at particular times when this is moving, and then the price comes back down. So for the traders out there, and we've spoken about this at SOTR, No, I know people that go in, set their order, they purchase when it meets that support point, when it falls back to 17, 18, 19 eventually, and then they set their sell order up at 21, 20, 22. So that the price is separate from the company because the price hasn't necessarily tracked since listing a couple of years ago the direct growth in the fundamentals or the financials for the company, right? It has really lingered in the teens mostly. I believe, Jeremy, and I don't know if off the top of my head, the Wisynco listed at, oh,
787, I think 787.
yes, seven, some weird price, not like a whole number price, right?
Yeah, man, $7.87.
Yeah, man. So that's my general thesis on Wisynco, that I am looking at Wisynco as a group, well, as a company here. They have a Wisynco Caribbean group, but as a company here, a listed company. And I want to see more from the business side, but I also want to see them place at least some focus on the share price. And if they're going to place at least some focus on the share price, it could be paying back out some of that cash in dividends, in higher dividends, because they do have the cash. But again, there's dividend tax, so that's not the most tax efficient way for the necessary families to get the income from the company. Um, I would say, and I'll throw it out there, Jeremy, and tell me what you think. I think from a price perspective, Wisynco, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but Wisynco should consider splitting the stock. What do you think about that?
Um, I mean, interesting concept. I usually look at a stock split for a company that would have. So what Limitless just said is what I was thinking for them, and I thought you were going to mention an at share buyback because of all the cash that they have. So I haven't necessarily thought about a stock split for them, but I thought with the cash that they've been saving and not doing anything with, then a share buyback would still be able to add value to existing shareholders. A stock split would be interesting. I mean, I don't I don't know if that would improve things more than the
Improve
short
things,
term for them though.
improve things sustainably.
Yeah,
That's actually a very good point, Jermaine. What we've realized as well is um, stock splits, sorry, aren't always a good idea, and I'll tell you why. So it's great on the announcement for the traders, and actually have some data coming up on this one, but not yet. It's great on the announcement for the traders because you can um, trade it on the news. It goes up, you sell it back, it comes down. But if we look at stocks that have done the split over time, they have met upon some. I want to define it as some kind of share price fatigue. So the share price has either come down and settled, or has continued to come down even further and settle. But there's some form of settlement after that initial announcement and the actual split itself. Um, so Limitless is saying the stock split effect. I don't know whatever effect you want to call it, but I actually have some data that I'm going to pull for this and a couple other things just to show what we've been seeing anecdotally in it. So, which is why I usually tell people, if you miss the news and you fall into FOMO and that price is hitting the breaker, 1 day, 2 day, if you miss the trade, if you go into that trade, you are probably going to be buying that at a peak or somewhere close to the peak. But yeah, I'll think about the buyback is
yeah,
a is a good option. I guess my only thing with that is, I think, based on even what they've said, that if they were to use the cash and do some form of value additive M&A, more than likely an acquisition,
yeah.
um, regionally as well. Remember, it's not just Jamaica. Wisynco is very large in Jamaica, but Wisynco is a very good brand
Global
regionally.
brand. Mm.
Yeah. So regionally as well, maybe in the UK, North America, if they can find an acquisition to expand and stretch their muscles there with the
Yeah.
cash, I'd probably prefer that over the buyback from a sustainable perspective in terms of the
Yeah.
price.
So I think I don't know if they would if it has to be buyback or split. I'd say they don't even need to do anything because I think Wisynco is a company that I've liked for a while, but I of course weigh the decision based on of course how the market is valuing a particular company. And I
Mm.
think this is one of those companies that, because if you think back to before 2020, Wisynco was high 20s. It had a run maybe I think year and a half ago where it seemed like it was going back to 30, and then again that was short-lived. Same thing that you were talking about. So I think to me those I don't know if a stock split effect is the right way to look at it because everything is kind of skewed by the last couple of years anyway, I think. But I think all things being equal, Wisynco is a company that is of great value, and if they literally do nothing, they will still be in a good position. But I do think I mean, maybe the best value for money might be just acquisition, as you say. So, um,
Yeah,
so
Mr. Mahfoud may say that the acquisition is easier said than done because they don't want to just acquire. I mean, they have the cash,
yeah,
but they want an acquisition that will. And I'm not speaking on their behalf. I haven't spoken to them. They are probably looking for an acquisition that will make some form of impact. But I want to see more from them this year, so I'm watching it. This doesn't necessarily mean that I'm buying it, by the way.
yeah, man, get you.